the handstand challenge. So hopefully after day one, you've got a little bit of an idea of where we're going to be heading with this. So quick review. So yesterday we were saying working on wrist mobility, really important for handstands. Then we're working on balance with the crow pose. So how did you find that? Again, we gave you a bit of a scaling. I was very bad at explaining the scaling. I didn't think we did at all. We just showed you a video. So apologies for that. But the idea of the scaling is to learn to tip from your head back to your hands, holding the position of your knees on your elbows. So if you want to have a review of that, we'll put that again in a few days' time to try and work on it. And then we did a little bit of a workout with the handstand walks and pike leg lifts. Today, what we're going to start off with is just another bit of mobility, changing the emphasis towards your shoulders. Okay, so wrists are really important. Upstream from that, shoulder stability or shoulder flexibility, sorry. What we tend to find when people struggle with their shoulder flexibility in a handstand, we're more orientated towards this banana position that we tend to see. So if you could imagine kind of the angle between the arms and the upper back, is we call that a closed shoulder. And really we want to try and avoid that as much as possible. What we want to try and do is open up the shoulder a little bit more to be able to stack everything. It's not that there's anything wrong really with banana handstand, it just puts a little bit more emphasis towards the lower back and a little bit more strain or a bit more effort on the shoulders. So if we can get into this stacked position that we talked about yesterday, that's what we're really going to focus on. So just going to spend a few repetitions working on a bit of shoulder and T-spine mobility. So we'll just put a video up on how to work on that. The emphasis really is on your breathing. So when you're trying to kind of like create tension, take a deep breath in, and then when you're trying to when you're trying to drop yourself into a little bit more of a stretch, big breath out, and just try and work on that. Move on to the buy-in. Exercise number one for the buy-in is going to be what we call a straddle drag. So we talked about compression the other day where you're trying to focus on bringing your legs towards your chest. The difference is we're going to focus on that from the lower half of the body today. We're going to try and keep the legs nice and straight, toes pointed, legs in a nice wide straddle position. Your goal then, if you can, is to try and drag your toes along the floor towards your chest. If you struggle with that, it's okay to bend your knees a little bit and jump your feet in towards your chest. So we'll show you a video of both the drag, and a little bit of a pop if you're struggling with it. Again, some of you might find that you can get really nice and close in with the drag. Some of you might find that you're still a little bit away from your hands with that position. Eventually this drill leads on to something a little bit more complicated, like your press to handstand. Two we're going to keep from yesterday, which is going to be the pike scapular push-ups. Quick reminder, what we're looking for is in your pike position, so once you finish your straddle drags, you want to try and focus on scapular elevation and depression. Yeah? So we're shrugging up and pushing into the floor, pulling back down again. We're going to do in the buy-in is going to be a reverse snow angel. We're going to do 10 repetitions. What we're looking for in the reverse snow angel is to try and get the muscles of your upper back, so things like your rotator cuff, your rhomboids, your trapezius, all working nicely together and just making sure we've got a good range of motion. So lying flat on the floor, you're going to start with your hands behind your back. And then we're going to bring the arms overhead. As you put it around, try and think thumbs together at the back. We're going to bring them over, heads, and then back down. Nice and smooth, 10 repetitions. Nice and smooth, 10 repetitions, trying to focus on squeezing your shoulder blades together. Focused on walking up the wall in the handstand. Today we're going to focus on kicking up. There's advantages to both. The disadvantage to the kick up is quite often we end up in this scorpion position if we're too far away from the wall. The advantages to being in a walk up position is you can really focus on keeping your body stacked and keeping that hollow position a lot easier. However, obviously when we're doing a handstand a little bit later on, we will want to learn how to kick up as well as possible. Problem number one that we're trying to fix is trying not to kick up to the wall too hard. So choose yourself a distance away from the wall, and then we're just going to kind of like gently kick up as much as, as softly as we can. I'll show you a quick video on what we don't want to see, aka like a too aggressive kick. When we're kicking too aggressively, we might bounce off the wall. We're just going to learn to overkick. We might have to go into a handstand walk or a forwards roll to try and bail out of that. So what we want you to think about is like ninja style feet. Yes, I want you to gently touch your lead leg to the wall first and then bring gently up with your other leg. Try and think about a scissor kick. So leg number one is going to go up against the wall. Yeah. Leg number two is going to be as far away as we can physically do it, and then just gently bringing the two together as slowly and controlled as we can. Yep, to get into that nice handstand position. Again, try and stack everything in a nice straight line. Try not to let your ribs pop upwards. To the ground, I just want to reverse that position as well. So we want to bring one leg to the ground, down to the ground as slowly as we can, and then let the other leg again gently follow directly after it. And position away from the wall. So the further we are away from the wall, the more chance we have of arching the back. If you're a little bit more advanced, I want you to try and work your hands a little bit closer, and a little bit closer towards the wall. How long are we going to spend on this? I'm going to leave it up to you. For me, what I tend to do is set a little bit of a timer, so maybe 7 to 10 minutes. You don't want to spend kind of like 20 repetitions in a row, just trying to get up to the wall and back down again. Maybe just doing singles with like 20 seconds rest in between. If you're a bit OCD like me and you love to kind of like do it every 30 seconds, set a timer with a stopwatch, like I say, for 7 minutes. You're going to get in 14 kick-ups and back down. But the big focus is on trying to make sure that you're doing that control into position, yeah, and then control back down again. What is we're going to do a new exercise, which is going to be a box handstand lift-off. Obviously, if you're doing this at home, using a sofa, using the side of your bed, using a chair as long as it's nice and stable, is a good idea. The reason that we love box handstands is it gets your pelvis into the right position. So let's say, for example, this is our nice stacked handstand. We want to see the line of our pelvis. Yeah, imagine like your belt line. So what we don't want to see is your belt line. Here we want to try and keep your belt line nice and level, and your rib line as well, nicely in position, so like level with that. So we don't want it poking upwards. We want to try and keep it in line all the way through. When you're on a box, because your pelvis is turned up naturally with your feet on the box, it tends to put you into that position. So when we're going to lift one leg off the box to come into a handstand, try and keep your ribs towards your hips as much as you can.